Hello, people of the internet. Welcome to the FNAF Kids Retrospect. Before we start off, make sure you check out all the critters. Their links will be in the description. One other thing, I will be watching the famous films or Bonnie's perspective for this video. No other perspectives will be mentioned. Also, one other thing, FNAF Kids is made by Gizzy Gaza and is carried out with John, the famous films, and KK. Without further ado, let's get into the retrospective. Episode 1. This episode starts with everybody waking up and freaking out because they don't know where they are. They eventually find out that they're animatronics and not human kids. As they're wandering around, they find the night guard. The night guard, instead of saying "aww" at the kids, he screams in terror because to the night guard, the kids are very creepy, but to the kids, they're very cute. Also, the night guard can't hear the kids, so the kids, being confused, they retreat and come up with a plan. They split up and look for clues, like the normal Scooby-Doo gang. Anyways, Brian and Gizzy try to communicate with the night guard, while John and Kay go into the night guard's room. That's it. They literally just go into the night guard's room. Before Brian and Gizzy try to communicate, they need to turn on the power. After they turn on the power, they eventually find their way to write a message on a big screen above the stage. They write, "Help us." Kay and John found that they were all gonna get scrapped. Suddenly, for almost no reason, Gizzy remembers that when he was a kid, a purple man murdered him while his dad, by the way, he's a construction worker, that'll be important later, was on the phone. At the end of the episode, Brian points to a screen that says "Help us," and it hits 6 a.m. Now it's time for my opinion. Okay, so let's start off with what I like about this episode. I love the concept of the way they are animatronic kids, but to everybody else, they're just creepy and unsettling. The concept is very unique and funny. Don't get me started on how good the quality is. Also, John is so funny. Everything he said, I laughed at. But sadly, we have to move on to dislikes. So that's where the praise ends. Now it's time for the dislikes. Okay, so I don't really like the part where the untextured block is. Like at the beginning of the episode, there's this one untextured block, and it really just breaks my immersion the whole entire time they were all on stage. Also, during the episode, John barely said a word. Also, the security guard was way too stupid. For example, when Brian breaks a window and runs to the stage, Foxy stage, the security guard says, "It's probably my imagination." My guy, he broke a window. Last thing to say is, somebody please tell me why Gizzy randomly remembers his past. Like, for almost no reason, he remembers his past. Anyways, time for episode 2. They wake up and again get the guard to believe that they're real and to help them. They separate eventually into pairs again. Gizzy and Kay go to the backstage, while John and Brian go to explore. They eventually find a locked room that they really want to go in. Through enough force, John managed to bust it into the room using his head. In the room, they find a Golden Freddy suit. They went over to the night guard's place, like little office thing, and they ask him if they know anything about it. He says no, and then, quote, suspiciously walks away. Later, the animatronics meet up again. Gizzy Gizzy says that somebody murdered a person in a Golden Freddy suit a long time ago. Suddenly, Kay remembers that somebody murdered her in a Golden Freddy suit. Gizzy suspects that the man in the Golden Freddy suit is the same person that murdered him. You know, the purple man, purple guy, whatever you want to call him nowadays. Gizzy and John also suspects that the purple man could be Mike. Before they could do anything, 6 a.m. hits and they all turn off. Now it's time for my opinion. In my opinion, this episode was great. I love the duo of Brian and John. I also like how violent John is. Wants to be. Like, same thing, pretty much. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, like, his character, like, John being violent works so well for his character. I also still don't like how they just randomly remember things for no reason at all. Like, I guess Chica's is, like, more explained this time. But, like, still, not that much. Anyways, time for episode 3. They wake up, and Mike arrives. All the animatronics are conflicted on if they should trust Mike or not. Because John and Gizzy think that he's the purple guy, but Kay and Brian don't. So John and Gizzy attacks Mike, while Kay and Brian try to stop them. After a long time, they split up and look for clues. John and Gizzy try to find things about Mike's past, while Brian and Kay explore the area. Brian and Kay eventually go into the kitchen where they find a marionette doll and a newspaper article. The newspaper's article says that a boy died with a marionette doll. Just then, Brian remembers that when he died, a marionette was nearby. Later, the animatronics meet up again. Foxy and Freddy, or I don't know why. Like, why did I name them in the script? It's clearly John and Gizzy. But anyways, they found proof that Mike is not the purple guy, and they try to apologize to Mike. They also ask if they could call the purple guy. But suddenly 6 a.m. hits, and they have to go to bed. Okay, so now it's time for my opinion. Okay, so my opinion on this episode is I think this episode has one huge plot hole. You see, the animatronics spend about 5-ish minutes trying to get Mike to call the purple guy. But why didn't they just use the computer? Like they play charades and everything. Like, I didn't go over there because it's not that important. But they play charades and everything. But why didn't they just use the computer? Besides that, the episode's pretty great. I love the characters. Alright. Same cookie cutter stuff. Anyways, it's time for episode 4. Right? Yeah, it's episode 4. Okay, so episode 4 starts with them waking up. Except this time, Mike just doesn't show up for work today. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure he can get fired for that, but we're just gonna ignore how he could get fired for that. Anyways, this time Gizzy's dad comes in because he's gonna demolish the place. See, I told you the job was gonna be important, but you didn't listen. Anyways, the animatronics try to come up with a plan. Gizzy and Brian try to communicate with Gizzy's dad, while Kay and John are, quote, looking good. What does that mean? I don't know. That's the actual answer they gave me while I was researching. Anyways, after they split up, Brian and Gizzy go to the computer and type, it's Gizzy. But Gizzy's dad just doesn't look up and does not notice the TV. And instead goes to the backstage and destroys the computer and turns off the power. With nothing left to do, Brian and Gizzy meet up with Kay and John. John says he knows how he died, and Kay says that she knows where the voice box switch is. After they switch on their voice switches, the purple guy comes in, but then it hits 6 a.m. Anyways, time for my opinion. Okay, so my opinion on this episode is that it was way off pace. You see, it feels like they had a lot of ideas, but for some reason they made that episode 12 minutes long instead of the normal 20 minutes. Also, John doesn't explain how he died. Like, I guess his perspective saw, but like, nobody else really saw till like the end of the episode flashback. Anyways, time for episode 5. Okay, so before Purple Guy showed up at the end of the last episode, at least I think it's before. I'm actually not too sure if it's before or not. They never really clarified it, because I think it gets later retconned or something. I honestly don't know. But anyways, Mike calls the purple guy and asks to talk. Purple guy agrees to drive over. Mike is telling purple guy that to come inside, but he for some reason just won't. Like, honestly, I still don't get exactly why, but you know, whatever. Then Mike says something about Gizzy's dad, and then purple guy suspiciously agrees to come inside. But when they're inside, purple guy, just sort of stabs Mike. Just like stabs, I guess. Then the camera cuts to the animatronics. The animatronics are waking up and see that they're surrounded by construction workers tearing down the place. The animatronics come up with a plan to scare the workers out. After the plan actually works for once in their life, after it actually works, Gizzy's dad comes from the bathroom. Don't ask me why I was in there, probably do some construction business. But anyways, with their voice box being on this time, Gizzy told his dad that it's his little peas and carrots. I guess. I mean, the animatronic technically heard last episode about it, so I guess that makes sense. But like, impersonation probably. And for some reason, that works. Gizzy dad now knows that the animatronics are alive, and now he won't tear down the building. As soon as Gizzy's dad leaves, they all say collectively, nothing can go wrong now. Suddenly, Golden Freddy appears, walks out of the room with Purple Guy inside of Golden Freddy. The animatronics start running away and split up. Kay and Brian go into parts and services, while John and Gizzy go somewhere else. After a while, they stop hiding in parts and services and regroup because Golden Freddy left somewhere. Don't know exactly where, but somewhere. John and Gizzy said that his dad has a plan. Suddenly, Golden Freddy walks into the main room and corners them. While that's happening, a strange music is playing. Gizzy tries to fight Golden Freddy, or Purple Guy, but Golden Freddy breaks Gizzy's legs. Suddenly, the music stops, and a tall, lanky boy, Marionette, rushes behind Golden Freddy. Marionette kills Golden Freddy with one hit. Just one. No, not two, not zero, one. And that's where season 1 ends. Oh yeah, also, Gizzy's dad now owns the restaurant. So I guess that's where season 1 ends. We know. I'm just gonna ignore that part, how I messed up the script. Anyways, my opinion, this episode was not the best, but also not the worst. I like how intense the episode is. It truly feels like something is at stake. With that being said, I don't like how the marionette randomly pops up at the end while the animatronics are standing there. Like, I would rather watch Mr. Purple Man over here get spring lock for the 500th time than watch how he died in here. Also, why did they use the normal Minecraft death? Like, seriously, why? Okay, so now it's time for my final thoughts on the series as a whole. Anyways, my final thoughts on the series is that it's a great concept. I can't find many FNAF roleplays where we're watching from the animatronics perspective. Especially back when they made it, because this was made like 2 years ago or something. Also, the quality on the first couple episodes was great, but I do think towards the 5th episode they got a tiny bit lazy. Even though the quality is still better than most Minecraft roleplays. The part that I think brought it down for me is how they use the cookie cutter process. They use like the same cookie cutter process. I'm stuttering it over it. That's how like fed up I am with it. Here's an example. They would wake up, next something would happen, then they would split up, last they would all come together and share it through. Then they sleep. That was the thought behind 1 through 4. It's almost the exact same for 5 too. The only difference is that with 5, the last part comes with Purple Guy's death. Also, I don't like how they randomly remember things. Like, I feel like that's literally just moved the plot forward, and it's not in a good way. In conclusion, this series is not the best, but also not the worst. I think certain parts could be better, but besides that, this is really good. So, if you ignore the warning of the start of the video, or you just haven't seen the series for a while, I recommend you go watch the series if you're like bored and have nothing to do this summer. Seriously, it's like you could probably sit there for about like an hour. I think that's how long the full movie is. Okay, bye. Oh well, time to do the outro. Like I said before, I love all the creators' content. Like Dizzy, I've been watching for years. Same as Ryan, Famous Films, I should say. John, Kay, sort of. And I watch like a lot of their videos. I just like nitpicking at certain parts because, you know, it's sort of fascinating. I love tearing things apart that I love. Okay, but it isn't the best. I keep stumbling. Sorry for stumbling, by the way. I keep recording this at like random parts of the day. Also, like, I wrote this script at 3 a.m. Yeah, that's my life now. So, some parts aren't the best. But anyways, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Also, please, I am begging you, go check out each and every one of these creators. If I remember, and I'm going to try to, I'll put their links in the description. But anyways, goodbye. Man, maybe I should not do the high note. Bye.